Hello and welcome back. So, shortly after we did this playthrough, we now have the Disney Lion King Classic Collection. And yeah, it has, and the Lion King it has both the Super NES version, the Sega Genesis version, but it also has the Game Boy and Game Boy Color versions for reasons that I don't understand. It also has the Japanese version, so if you want to play the game with Japanese text,
cool, I guess.
Have at it.
Basically, it's pretty much clear that Disney released both these and the Aladdin, Genesis game as a sort of capitalization on the live-action remix that they did in 2019. But sure, good stuff, and actually a good way to preserve these versions, even though they're just about.
So let's take a look at the Game Boy version before we move on to the extras.
Credits Virgin Interactive as well. That's nice.
Well, they left the ROM untouched, Dibs, apparently.
Disney software.
The ROM has been left untouched. They didn't seem to change anything.
Dark Technologies.
Yes, the Game Boy port of Lion King was made by Dark Technologies, and let's just say
it's shite.
I'm not sure this music translates well to.
No.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm actually usually okay with GBA's 8-bit type of music, but Jesus Christ, this is unbearable.
Yeah, the instrumentation is terrible, to be honest. Alright. Oh God! Alright, that was your nightmare for the next few weeks, everybody.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, I wasn't really here throughout this whole playthrough, was I?
No, that's okay.
More familiar with the handheld version of Lion King, aren't you, Drew?
I will say this: the game looks fluid for being a port, but still doesn't look good, to be honest.
Well, Jova plans on recording the SNES version at some point, so you can be in that.
Oh yeah, I just found out something. Apparently, the Super Nintendo version, at least, I'm not sure about the Mega Drive version, was developed by Westwood Studios, who would later go on to be famous for Command and Conquer.
Huh.
And that was enough for the Game Boy version. I don't blame you.
Yeah, basically, I rage quit.
Butchered music, so.
All right, now let's just check real quick the Game Boy
version of handle color.
Yes, we didn't do this. Yes, I didn't do this in the Aladdin extra part because it was getting too long, so I decided to put it here as a little extra. Why not?
Basically, here's how it goes. Basically, here's how it goes. The handheld version is the Game Boy version. The color version is the Game Boy Color version. Despite what you might think, there did tend to be actual vital differences between the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color version.
Oh, no Arabian Nights.
Well, actually, the title screen for this game has always had a whole new world as its thing.
Oh God, Yago, what have we done to you?
There's a whole new world. A song from Aladdin, or is it from another?
It's from Aladdin. Well, Arabian Night is used in the dungeon level, Dwebs. But the thing is, see, you have to understand is that there's no night desert level in this game. There's a day night desert, but there's no night desert level. So you don't really have an obvious level to put that song in. So Tommy Tallarico decided to put it in the dungeon level because, well, they had to put this song somewhere.
Okay,
I mean, how part of the lyrics of the song
this doesn't really look appealing.
Well, that's only like one verse, so it's not really.
Well, I mean, yeah,
the way these sprites are, I get
and the frame rate just then.
I applaud the idea of trying to make it more similar to the console version, but it just suffers as a result.
For a second there, I thought it was going to go into the angry video game nerd feed.
This is not. Oh God, that lamp is huge! Holy shit!
The genie game, wait.
Oh, and the genie. What's up with your face?
Oh God, what's wrong with your face?
So yeah,
why is Aladdin looking like he's jumping?
I guess I should be thankful that the Game Boy versions are preserved as well, but
yeah, like you could have lived without this.
Alright, let's go back to Lion King. That was just a small little extra that I threw in because the Aladdin extra part was already way too long even without that, so yeah.
I'll just say this, handheld-wise, people were probably hoping for the SNES version of Aladdin. Unfortunately, because that version is owned by Capcom, it is not a part of this collection.
So yeah, one of the cool things about this collection is that it has special features, more for Aladdin than Lion King, because for Aladdin they actually did manage to get David Perry and Tommy Tallarico and even Nick Rudy to talk about the development of the game with brand new interviews. But for Lion King they used original 1994 recordings. This was the original.
I think, Jova, that's the official musical.
Well,
no, actually, no, Teo. This is actually the launch party of. Basically, there was kind of a little party to celebrate the release of both the game and the movie. There you go.
Basically, Teo, believe it or not, at the video game convention where this game was first showcased, they had sort of a little mini Lion King show celebrating it.
So yeah, just like with Lion King, like I've said, the sprites and animations were done by the actual Disney animators, and they were Westwood Studios compressed it all into Mega Drive and Super Nintendo sprites. So
this is truly really showing up how big Lion King as a film and franchise made it. To have its own musical showing at a games convention, just to
it will be like
it helped.
Showing up at E3, but
it also helped. Remember, Jova, the Aladdin Mega Drive game was a big thing. It was the highest selling third-party game on the Mega Drive. So
probably through brand name alone.
So obviously, what was going to be the spiritual successor, because much like it was basically being made in the same mold. Obviously, this was a big deal. Not for gamers at the time.
I do miss when Disney sort of took their games division more seriously.
All done by animators and animation teams. Everybody brings a lot of different ideas, and everything is wide open.
Animating a four-legged animal is challenging, especially in interactive.
Yeah, especially when you're showing that level.
Oh boy. The level that pretty much broke a lot of children's childhood. Especially if you were playing
on the on the SNES version where the jump is lower, so you can't jump on some hippos, which makes the game significantly harder.
Wait, are you saying you get a better jump in the Mega Drive version?
Not so much.
Well, let me put it this way, Dwebs. The SNES version has better music, vastly better music, in fact. But the Mega Drive version has better gameplay because it has a bigger screen resolution that allows the second level to be way more tolerable. And like I said, because of the slightly higher jump, it makes that second level even less frustrating. So it's one of those cases where, do you prefer good music with lesser gameplay or not as good music but with better gameplay? Your choice.
Pick your poison.
The collection has both versions, the Super Nintendo version and the Genesis version, so you can choose which one you want to play.
Let's talk about also the biggest disadvantage of a SNES version, the tinier screen.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't always hurt, but in the flamingo section...
It does.
It absolutely will kick you in the crotch.
Is it more like an ostrich or than a flamingo, actually?
Pretty sure it's a flamingo, you're right.
Whatever. So yeah, this is them making the sprites. So there you go. It's interesting because I don't know if back when they did Aladdin they didn't record making of featurettes, but for the collection they made new ones by bringing back the original developers who are still working. I don't think the people who made this original game are still working. They're probably retired by this point.
But yeah, as you can see, this game was quite a technological marvel for the time. In a sense, it was like literally taking, Disney-level animations and projecting them into the game.
I will say, however, that I think Mike Dietz, aka the animation director for Aladdin and later from Jim, I would argue that he's better at doing this kind of thing because while the sprites are high quality, I think the Aladdin game did a better job in capturing the look of the movie than this game did in capturing the... Because, I don't know, the sprites I think are a bit lesser quality than the Aladdin ones, for me.
It depends on your viewpoint here and there. For me, I would argue these are kind of a bit more impressive, seeing as how they also did mention the difficulty at the time of animating a character on four legs.
The Stampede level looks great, I will give it that. It's just that I think that Aladdin's sprite is more faithful to the movie than Simba's sprite is. I mean, It's one of those cases where I think there should be I think Simba's sprite should be a bit more colorful, because he was more colorful than this in the movie, you know. Because in here they toned down the yellow color for some reason. I don't get that.
Actually, I think it's more so that they toned down the red of his mane.
Yeah,
Well,
I was about to notice that. Everything seems to be more...
Well, okay.
golden.
Well, regardless, they did tone down something, and that's my issue because Aladdin didn't feel the need to tone down anything. That's what I'm wondering. Spoilers, guys. What about it? What if nobody saw? What if not? What? I mean, at the time, some people might have not seen the movie yet.
Everyone saw Kimba the White Lion, and that's technically the same thing.
I'm not gonna get into that. Check out the yourmoviestocks.org video.
Yeah, it's 2 hours of ass blasting whatever conspiracy theory that was.
just watch that and stop saying it's a ripoff. It's not.
Yeah.
It's an actual ostrich, Jova.
There you go. They even just said it. I thought so.
Mostly also, Jova, because they're more common for the savannah.
Yeah, guys. By the way, guys, thank you for those Timon bonus levels. But could you make them longer next time? Thanks. Go ahead, Jova.
Also, yeah, Tio, you have a point. Yeah, besides, they're way bigger than flamingos anyway. I just remember.
Yeah, flamingos are a bit tinier.
The flamingos are
because they're stylized to be a lot more pink than ostriches normally are.
The place of the Empire of Joy.
It's Flamingos are more used in the Sultan's Palace level in Aladdin, where you use flamingos as platforms, and even go hey. So, well, remember to, like you said, it's that distinct humor that David and his team have. So
yeah.
I find it interesting how, which specific Disney animators, because it's not the same animators from the movie, because you don't see Glenn Keane in here, you don't see Don Hahn, you don't see Andres Deja, so it's not the same animators from the movie.
Consider also the quality, they remind me a lot in terms of animation quality of the Disney afternoon shows, so maybe they're tied to that.
They probably forgot their TV anime. They have a significant bigger budget, clearly, though, than the TV shows.
Well, to be fair, the Disney Afternoon was a very high-budget TV show. Like, one thing we have to remember about Disney, their TV shows had a lot more stock in them than the typical TV show. Hell, Disney were kind of the ones to break the trend of making a TV show just for a toy commercial, essentially, with DuckTales.
True.
Which, was one of the first shows to actually ever go past 100 episodes and then, not be just cut unceremoniously. Unless you were Scooby-Doo, that thing took off like wildfire.
So there you go, the fully uncompressed animations. It would be. It's a shame that they don't have. Okay, because there are some pencil sketch animations that you can see in the extras as well. Mm-hmm. It's such a shame that most of these animations probably didn't survive and weren't properly archived, because in the hands of a good developer, they could bring out these original animations before they were compressed and properly remake these games, and we can see all these animation sprites in their full glory before they were compressed. It would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do still have them somewhere.
Maybe in the Disney Vault.
Wouldn't be surprised. There's
maybe. Unfortunately, they didn't. That's not the route they went with this collection.
Yeah, even the footage here seems to be at least on point to be at least recorded in the 90s. So I actually do wonder where it was, where they found it.
This was used for TV shows at the time too. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Hey, Dwibs.
Yeah.
Maybe they used it for that show that later became gaming in the Clinton years.
Yeah, I can imagine George would try to ask these guys. Well, actually,
I'm sorry, there's no cheat code to get me to the final level. 0 out of 10.
although to be fair to the guy, apparently he does have. It's not like he doesn't have any pop culture interests. Apparently I heard he's really into comic books. It's just video gaming's not one. Although, hang on. If this is George Wood, then shouldn't we be going on wild tangents that have nothing to do with anything? Like that time where when he was doing the Toy Story review, he just randomly went off topic and talked about some toy that he thought was ripping off Capcom Street Fighter.
What kind of painting software are they using?
Well, at the time, too, the primary one that was used was Microsoft Paint. Believe it or not, there was a time where
this looks way more elaborate than that, though.
Well, there were premium versions of it because. Believe it or not,
I had the premium versions of Paint. Excuse me.
Well, the thing is, Shiva, you have to understand.
For companies like
I know
these,
it's hard to believe nowadays when I say it, but believe it or not, Shiva, there was a time where Microsoft Paint was considered something awesome to use for professional means. I know.
Not in my lifetime.
Well, yeah, but I'm an old fart, so I can tell you that. So.
It's really the same as any production. You know, there's a point in production where I think it becomes so hectic, and everybody is really trying to solve so many problems because you're trying to do something unique and it's never been done before, and you can't draw from anybody's experience. And there's a point in time when you.
I miss when that was the biggest thing people had to worry about in game development.
I actually don't know, and so I might as well ask. Did they have this same kind of thought process for the PS1 Hercules video game?
They did. Well, so that's the thing. The Hercules video game was the last one to be made using this mold that the Aladdin game set forth.
Well, I think there was like that 2D weird point-and-click Mulan video game on the PlayStation, but I don't know.
Was that even official? Because I don't even.
I think it was.
I owned that.
I actually played it once. I don't remember barely anything about it.
I'll have to look it up. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Maybe I'll add it to my Disney licensed game thingy.
I don't think it's one really you can commentate on. It's just.
Well,
I want to actually see it for myself, so I can properly make that judgment for myself.
Paul Kurasi, that's his name.
Like, does it follow the story of the movie at least, Shuri?
Yeah, so technically
yeah.
Okay.
It's basically a set of, like, again, it's a sort of point and click, but instead of having a character going on screen, it's literally you going from screen to screen that depicts some situations of the movie. Like, the first one is the market, and as the grandma, beating everyone with arm wrestling and explaining stuff that happens in the plot in the meantime, stuff like that. And in the meantime, say something like, find this object that's on screen somewhere.
It's creative chaos. Result.
This is also this is also a
describe game development.
For those who are not as familiar with 1990s behind-the-scenes featurettes, this was kind of an issue with 90s featurettes in the sense that the developers / filmmakers, when they were involved in this kind of stuff, a lot of times they were just kind of monotone and sounding. I don't understand why in the 90s none of the directors of these featurettes would say to the guy, okay, could you make it sound like you're at the very least enthusiastic while you're saying that?
There's also the fact that similar to God damn it, I forgot the name. The guy from Hello Games, who they used in all the interviews. So a lot of game developers are not good as spokespeople, you know.
Which is interesting too, because as we're going to see in the Aladdin extra part, Tommy is incredibly full of life as he always is when he's talking.
Although, to be fair, from what you've told me, that one has the advantage that it's done in more modern times.
Yeah, it were featurettes that were made specifically for this collection today. In current day.
So to his credit, he has the advantage of this is a time where developers sort of have learned that, okay,
I guess, sure,
brush up on, the whole thing, because to be fair, as far as game developers were concerned, it wasn't like, the big game interviews were so important that they would need to give their all into these interviews. Like,
I guess, sure.
Apparently, Paul Kurasi was a producer for basically most of these bunch of Disney games where he actually commented on Aladdin, Lion King, the Pinocchio one, Pocahontas one, and Mickey Mania.
Yeah, he was basically the head of Disney Interactive at the time, I think.
Yeah, but it's just like these 5 ones, surprisingly. He gets like
maybe management changed. I don't know.
Yeah, possible. He gets a thanks in a short of 1992 called Office Rockers. But I have no idea what that is.
What's difficult about that is you want that instantaneous response, but a cat if he jumps in midair, wouldn't all of a sudden jump and turn the other way. He'd have some actions where he turns around. Physics
True.
would carry him a certain way. So we have to make these things appear to happen instantly.
The game quality.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, Tio, back in the day during this generation of gaming, people were actually into
Not
trying
all
to
of
make
them, Jova. In fact, there were actually examples of the opposite, where just like these guys said, there were some developers who didn't care of having like a turning animation for a character.
I know about that. What I'm saying is like, well, there was sort of an uptick in developers starting to think more about that, you know. I'm not saying that, obviously, I'm not saying that all of them were like that, but it was where a bigger presence was starting to grow in, you know, making stuff quote unquote more immersive.
Minor nitpick about watching these featurettes on the collection. The player never entirely disappears; it just gets transparent, and that back thing in the bottom right corner never disappears. So I can never actually properly watch these videos without anything in front of it. Like, come on, guys! It's called a dynamic HUD, guys. This has been a thing for like a decade at this point.
It's just to stop people uploading it claiming it's their own.
Well, I don't know, dude. I think it's pretty easy for hackers to go into the Steam version of this collection and just rip the videos out of it. So I don't think. So it won't be that hard. So it's very easy to do. So.
Also, again, it's not a problem for me, but you know, subs would have been appreciated.
That too, yeah.
Especially in a run, when you're trying to make this guy run, which feet are hitting, which is it 3 legs at a time or 4 legs, and so that created the biggest challenge. Just trying to think of which foot is to keep the character balanced.
Okay, next one. Yeah, there's a shit ton of videos, but each of them is like
30 seconds.
Not even that. This one is 16 seconds.
Yeah, it gives me the idea that these were used for like documentaries and were just edited in a way to be cohesive, just with the host talking in the meantime.
I mean, what's next? Is there going to be a video where he just says like yes or no, or the video's only a second long?
Well, let's see. The producer of Westwood Studios. There you go.
Disney's animators work in the game. We had to somehow take those drawings that exist on paper.
We needed money for this new project we're working on.
And put them into video. And the way we did that is through a process called the Digicel.
Although I'm being told we've only got one half-decent actor here, they're going to have to try our best.
They're then sent to us electronically through the phone lines, and the people on our end,
I don't know what they mean by that, but
color the individual frames and use custom software to shrink the drawings down so that they can be the right size and the right color for video games.
Makes sense. I dig these as a nice little window back to the 90s.
In general, Jova, it's all, honestly, these kind of featurettes of developer interviews are always a nice feature. It gives also a sort of a layer of, in the case the game turned out to be, good enough, it gives a layer of honesty for the team to showcase what they went through.
I can just imagine what the documentaries of Fallout 76 will be like.
Or Mighty Number 9.
Personally, I would love one on Ghost of Tsushima.
It's funny you mentioned that, Tio, because Mighty Number 9 was supposed to have an official documentary, but only has the first, or maybe the first 2 parts, but has not been completed.
Okay, alternate theory too. What happened was, they turned to each of these guys and go, okay, you have 20 seconds to talk about, to sum up to the best of your ability, this particular part of the production. Go! Alright, and now one of the designers. So what makes this game unique?
What I like about the game is that it's always different. It's very fast-paced. There's different characters to play, different experiences, new levels, new graphics, and every time you play the game, you find something different.
Good time.
Okay. What next? How did you make the game and movie connected? Let's see.
What we do is we look at the movie and find what kinds of things really stand out. In the Elephant Graveyard level of the game, there's a skull that is right out of the movie, and if you've watched the movie, you'll notice right away this is just the same thing. So kids will say, "Wow, look at that! I'm
iconic.
I'm playing the movie."
So there you go.
Yeah, the way he said it made it come off a bit more.
All right,
Like,
the Lion King breakfast.
It's like it's basically the same thing.
There you go, Terry. Even says right here, watch the highlights from the unveiling of the Lion King movie and the game.
And
so this was
game.
so this was basically an unveiling party that lasted 32 minutes. Don't worry, we're not going to sit through all of it. I'm just going to show what I consider to be the highlights. I'm going to bypass the musical parts because we're not here to commentate on the music of this stuff. We're going to commentate on the video game, the parts where they talk about the video game itself.
Although I'm even sure there is a way we can commentate.
The problem is that the player included in this collection is kind of crap. I can't just, fast forward it. I have to constantly press...
It's kind of like the one on YouTube. It jumps ahead for like 10, 20 or 30 seconds.
So I have to consistently press... let's just say, trust me, this player's crap. I wish... I mean, Digital Eclipse is a great developer for classic emulation collections, but they need to improve on their movie player skills, it seems.
I will say this, to their credit, the music was awesome, and Dwibs, it's easy to commentate on music. Come on.
Dwibs,
I said this, is there a way to commentate on the Lion King musical?
Yeah, duh, of course, Dwibs. We commented on the Ace Attorney music.
No. I don't think you're understanding Dwibs' question, though, Joe. But he's asking if there's a way we can watch it so we can commentate on it. That's what. Like, is there an actual recording of it that we can use?
Oh,
there's a recording of every musical, except Broadway is very stubborn. And
well, okay, let me rephrase that then, Shiroi. Is there a recording of it that's available to the public?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it.
There will be, but not in good quality. It'll be a fan cam, if you will.
Oh, in that case,
yeah, those aren't gonna cut it. So, but hey, guys, I got a sort of kind of musical that we could do a comment.
Well, hold on. Let me explain what this guy is.
Hamilton?
For those who don't know who this guy is, that's Don Hahn. He was the producer of The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback of Notre Dame. And
so basically, one guy behind the Disney Renaissance.
His most recent work was as producer of Tim Burton's Frankenweenie.
Well, I'm pretty sure this carded the mind of a lot of children that were in the audience.
Yep.
Oh, believe it or not, kids actually got a kick out of that stuff back in the day.
Oh, I can imagine. It's just that there's clearly an uncanny valley.
Oh, and look at that! And look at that, everybody! Jeffrey Kanzerberg decided to bring a lion cub to the stage.
It's an actual lion cub.
Yes.
Is this when he was?
Oh my god!
Poor baby.
Yeah, this poor kitty has to withstand all the flashes. Jesus Christ!
Look, he doesn't want to be here.
In his head. But secretly, Jeffrey Katzenberg's head, he's planning his eventual side.
Wow, he even has a collar. He has a collar. Okay, allow me. You see, Miss Shuri, what happened is I decided to adopt this little lion cub for myself. This is my pet. So I came here to...
he will be the star of my
dinner.
Madagascar.
Was he so angry with the Disney executives? He bought a cub so he could set it on...
No, this was before Frank even died. If you don't know who Frank is, check out Saber Sparks' retrospective on the
Basically, believe it or not, Shiroi, they actually did have a real lion, and I do mean an adult lion, on the set for the making of the movie. Some of the behind-the-scenes stuff you can see about that. So it's no surprise they brought a lion.
So it was kind of the equivalent of having a car on stage for Need for Speed.
He's one of the game producers, so he's come here to speak upon the game.
He looks a bit like Steven Spielberg.
Remember, because of the success of the Aladdin game, Virgin got chosen as the de facto Disney partner for video games.
It's funny actually. It's interesting seeing the making of this game, and it really does show what's wrong with a lot of tie-in games these days here and there. Like they said, connecting it to the movie involves taking nice iconic moments and portraying them in there. This shows a problem with tie-in games like the Brave video game, which, as you recall, did not have any of those iconic set pieces really for our playthrough of it.
To give you an idea, Teo, the Brave video game is one of the most miserably boring things that humanity has ever created.
I've seen a bit of your run while preparing the parts, and yeah, I can see that. Also, it's a bit uncanny to look at.
Yeah, I know.
Poor Merida.
Oh God, Merida looks awful. I guess that's another thing I really like about the Renaissance era. Like, the Disney video games back then were, well, they were kind of like cream of the crop back then. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It also helped. It helped that video games at the time were much easier to make and took less time, so it was easier to cope with the tight schedule and budgets.
Thank you and good night. We'll be here all week.
More like all night, but yeah.
But you don't understand. You don't understand. Jeffrey Katzenberg had another argument, and thus I'd be forced to stay out here to try and appease the Disney.
Like I said,
it's all night, Pedro, because technically this is the Lion King breakfast, so shouldn't it be all morning?
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Okay, we'll be here all day then.
What about second breakfast, Joe?
Well, hey, hello, and welcome to the. If Jeffrey Katzenberg came out with that cub and he's like, "Welcome to the Lion King breakfast. What's for breakfast?
Maybe for
all of you," and he throws the cub out.
maybe for Pocahontas it was the Pocahontas midnight snack.
Oh God.
And then he gets his bow and arrow out, and that fat guy at the back is the midnight stack.
Okay, again, I will never get tired of the irony that, again, is kind of a recurring thing with Disney. If they were thinking Pocahontas was going to be their breadwinner here and there, and Lion King would, at best, be the side project. And then Lion King went on to be so big that they actually considered replacing Mickey with Simba as the mascot for Disney. It was that big.
Like I said, it even technically, to a much lesser extent for the record, but still technically happened in 2016, where Moana was being posed as the next big Disney princess musical and stuff, and Zootopia was supposed to be more of a side project, but Zootopia was far more popular and successful. So.
And again, it happened with Wreck-It Ralph compared to Brave, where they thought, hey,
well,
Brave,
to be fair, those were one of them was Pixar movie, so technically it doesn't count in the same comparison.
Well, yes, it is a Pixar movie, but let's not forget it was their contribution to the Disney Princess franchise. So Disney had a stock in that bed, thinking that
more like competing with itself, Drova. But I guess comparing the products in-house.
Well, okay. My point is well, again, like with Lion King compared to Pocahontas, Disney thought that Wreck-It Ralph would be the lesser of the projects compared to Brave, essentially. So, Wreck-It Ralph kind of got a bit less, cool Circle of Life. But yeah. It's like...
we can't show too much of it.
It actually reminds me instead of the fact that...
We actually can, Dwebs. I've looked into it. Apparently none of this music in this documentary is copyrighted, so...
It actually.
My guess is, Dwebs, Disney. The particular songs that were played, the particular rendition that we hear in this documentary, Disney never actually bothered to copyright any of this crap because they never properly released this until now in this collection of all things. So, yeah, there you go.
It actually reminds me of the whole Disney Renaissance that Jeffrey Katzenberg, was involved with. There actually was literally like one movie he actually wanted nothing to do with it, and Roy Disney had to carry on its back. And it was what became Fantasia 2000. And it kind of shows a bit.
Also, plushie Simba. There you go.
That's just a piece of corporate merchandise.
Yes.
Don't you see, it's to resemble that scene.
Throw that capitalistic thing out of my way.
That was a nice blast from the past.
All right, everybody. Now we're officially done, at least from my end, because when I recorded the playthrough, it was before this collection was out, but this should serve as a nice addendum for you guys. If you, so I guess I'm done, Jova. Now it's only up to you.
I guess it's up to me to handle the SNES version, and maybe the Game Boy version.
What
Yes.
about the PS1 game, Simba's Mighty Adventure?
Oh, you can bet I will be tackling that for the channel.
Eventually, but for now, let's
Alright,
just
see you for whatever's next.
see ya.
So yeah.
See ya.